Hydro-Quebec carries out extensive monitoring to better understand and quantify the carbon footprint of a kilowatt-hour generated in Quebec. That's why we study the carbon impact of our transmission line rights-of-way. Transmission lines are like electricity highways. They span vast areas that are generally located in remote regions. To accommodate them, we create corridors known as rights-of-way. A strip of land that's wider than the power line is cleared to establish a safe distance between the cables and their surroundings. This reduces the risk of arc flashes and is essential to keeping the power grid safe and reliable. But power line rights-of-way are not completely devoid of vegetation. Many plant species grow there, and these plants form part of the carbon cycle. Let's look at how this cycle works. Through a process known as photosynthesis, during the day, plants absorb carbon dioxide, or CO2, a gas that contributes to climate change. They break it down, releasing oxygen and water vapor into the atmosphere. Plants store carbon to grow, forming stems, leaves, and roots, what we call biomass. Plants also respire, including at night, which is the reverse process. They take in oxygen, which combines with their carbon to produce energy. The resulting CO2 is released into the air. When plant matter dies, it is broken down by microorganisms in the soil, which feed on it. This process releases carbon, some of which returns to the air as CO2. The rest is stored in both the biomass and in the soil. This is why forests are considered carbon sinks. Even with their low plant cover, the areas beneath power transmission lines also absorb CO2 thanks to the vegetation that grows there. They too play an important role in the carbon cycle, the natural, ongoing process that helps regulate the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. To establish the carbon footprint of transmission line rights-of-way, Hydro-Quebec and its partners send field teams to gather extensive data. This includes documenting the characteristics of the vegetation growing in the rights-of-way, measuring the release of CO2 and methane from the soil, observing interactions between the soil and vegetation, and assessing how the rights-of-way affect the adjacent forests. They also collect data from nearby forest stands to compare conditions there with those observed in the rights-of-way. The measurements from each site are then combined with remote sensing data to build a comprehensive picture of the carbon footprint of transmission corridors across Quebec. Data collected over many years show that power line rights-of-way host diverse plant life and create environments that support biodiversity. While these habitats differ from mature forests, they are still productive and contribute to carbon sequestration. We can therefore say with confidence that, as well as being essential for electricity transmission, power line corridors play an important ecological role. In collaboration with its university research partners, Hydro-Quebec continually expands its knowledge so that it can better assess the carbon footprint of its facilities. These efforts reflect the company's commitment to adopting ever more sustainable and innovative practices, thus ensuring that its infrastructures can contribute effectively to the fight against climate change.